Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Total Geek Live. I'm Baltimore. With me, as always, is Kaiser, Danny, and Guy.
Yes.
And we have a super great treat for you. We're going to be talking about Masters of the Universe.
Woo!
For this episode, call me Kaiser.
The power! Alright.
And I said, hey. Sorry.
I said, hey. Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on? No, we're not here to talk memes. We're here to talk He-Man. And I'm sorry I keep cutting you off, but were you about to say, let's watch the trailer?
Let's watch that trailer.
At the far end of the universe, there is a planet ruled by a being of utter evil.
Utter. Like a cow udder?
Yes, utter
There is
evil.
only one
Adore.
who dares challenge
Adore.
They are locked in a battle to the death. A battle that will take them across the heavens.
Stop him!
A battle that will finally be fought
I want them hunted down and brought to me!
across the face
Of rock
That's
and
like
roll.
every 80s action ever.
of Earth.
Oh man.
Wait, isn't
Dude,
that
he's supposed to be. We're supposed to be fighting Michael Myers.
That's what I was about to say. Where's Mike Myers?
Can you show
Yeah.
us the way?
No.
Look out for yourself.
Somebody help me!
No violence. All straight action.
He's flying on a glider.
From a distant galaxy, they have come to Earth. Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. Frank Langella as Skeletor. Only they have the
Are they about to burst into Superman music?
Masters of the
Ba, ba, ba,
Universe.
ba,
Boy, it's
ba,
close.
ba, 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 ba.
It's close.
Yeah.
Wow, that was... I never realized how eerily close that is to Superman's theme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's
Wow.
pause on that, shall we?
I'm just...
By
I'm flabbergasted.
composed by not John Williams.
Asterisk.
Jack Williams' son.
Jack Williamson.
Yes.
Alright, so... Baltimore, you're
Yeah.
a huge He-Man fan, as we all are.
I am that.
That. You are that.
That and other things.
Yes.
Now, this movie gets blasted a lot, but I'd watched it again recently, and you know, the Skeletor makeup. I remember in the stills being hyped as a kid. Like my dad was showing me some of the trade magazines, and he was excited. He's like, "Oh my God, look at how great the Skeletor makeup looks." So I remember being pretty stoked from the visuals before it came out. And I was going to talk about how it holds up now, but let's hold off on that. So you tell us, Baltimore, how do Skeletor and He-Man, do they work in this movie like they did in the cartoon, do you think?
Well, here's the thing, and this is something I didn't realize until much later. After growing up and kind of revisiting the movie, they didn't approach this movie as an extension of the cartoon or any of that as a basis. They based this movie off of the mini comics, where He-Man was a barbarian, when it was sword and sorcery, and that was it. And there was no kind of like quirky Orko or any of those kind of like feel good moments. It was supposed to be a battle, a brawl, epic, the likes of Conan, the likes of Red Sonja, those type of medieval-ish type of things, but set on Earth in present day.
Oh, really? The mini comics were?
Well, no, sorry.
Oh.
Mini comics based in Eternia. But
Okay.
the movie wanted all of that, but set it on Earth.
Because
Gotcha.
it's cheaper to
Yeah.
film at the mini mall than to recreate Eternia.
Or, that just looks like Southern California.
Doesn't
Yeah, I mean
everything?
they could have gone around some boulders and
They
dirt and grass and
But,
Yeah, because there's a few scenes with them running around in the Eternia setting
Right.
before they're here
yeah.
in Southern
But
California.
I think, and this is something I found out later too, that Frank Langella loved playing Skeletor. He says it's one of his actually favorite movie filmed roles of his life.
That's
Awesome.
awesome.
And you know what? He was very scary and equally impressive as a child watching this,
Mhm.
as it is watching it now. He's really vicious. He's really, impressive. I think it's just all I can say. He delved into the role, made it his own, and just, was incredible with it. And I think he is by far the best of this film. He-Man,
agree.
Dolph Lundgren, there are lots of things we could say about him. He is physically right for He-Man.
Right.
They were wanting to dub all of his voice work, but they ran out of money, so his voice is what we get. But
Did he know that they wanted to do that?
Yeah.
So was he not even trying during it, just knowing that they were going to redub it?
towards the end of production, which coincidentally they ran out of money before they actually filmed the last battle between He-Man and Skeletor. And then production found money and said, okay, we have the producer, the director said, okay, we need to film a week and a half on this, the battle, sword fight and everything. It was, okay, you've got 3 days. So that last scene, and, some of you know exactly how time-consuming filming is.
Yeah.
And to pull that off, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Now, the final fight scene in Eternia in the throne room?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That part. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, you had to deal with sets and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I've got a soft place for Dolph. I mean, because I like a lot of the movies that he's been in, and even some of the recent stuff with the Expendables and stuff. So I enjoyed him in it. I really also had a crush on Courtney Cox. So this was a big thing for me because there was a TV guide back when they had actual TV guides, and she was on the cover, and I cut her out and made her my bookmark. That was my bookmark. So because I read a lot of books as and so she was my bookmark, and when I found out she was in this movie, I was like, all right, I'm there. It's just one extra, icing on the cake there.
Now I hope you meet her and say, "You're my bookmark."
Not creepy at all. And then you just pull it
Not
out.
at all. No, not at all.
That'd be hilarious.
The kid in me, you're the kid in me when because I was looking at this. I was probably like 10 or 11 when I watched it, and I did see it in the movie theater, but I was disappointed that it took place on Earth.
Yep.
Same here.
Yeah, same here.
And not at Eternia, because we all watched the cartoon. We all were excited about that world. Well, we live on Earth. We don't want to see Earth.
Yeah.
We want to see what Eternia would look like in real, their real life interpretation of it and such. And so I was really, really bummed that the majority of it took place on Earth. And
it was around this musical key and Courtney Cox and her boyfriend character and the little Wudget guy. What was it again?
Wildor.
Wildor.
Wildor, yeah, the great
Wildor.
the great Billy Barty. I love Billy
Yeah.
Barty.
Yeah.
I did not like Gwildor.
Because so much of the movie is about them.
Yeah, about
And-
them three
Yeah.
specifically. You
And-
know, it was such a bummer, and it almost made me think that, you know, looking back on it and stuff, that this movie studio was maybe trying to pull in the teenagers and the 20-something crowd and get to that demographic and pull that in for viewer, you know, for an audience, rather than just focusing on, you know, kids our age.
That was common for the 80s, though. It was either kid or teen sidekicks or everything.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
But I would have resonated more had it been like a kid teaming up with Gwildor and then meeting and even get rid of Gwildor, really. Yeah, teaming up with He-Man, and that kind of thing, you know, because like we had in Transformers, Spike teamed up with Bumblebee, and you know, and he was, so, you know, but I guess Spike was a teenager then, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah, he wasn't really a kid. I was
No
thinking
escaping the sidekicks, man.
yeah, that's right. So,
What about the villains? What do you think about them?
Were they? Was it Beastman and Evil Lyn the only?
No,
one?
they had three others. Sorod. They had Blade. They had Korg.
Blade and Karg, yeah.
Okay.
And I remember they made toys for all those, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they were, because they were new, I guess, new characters, right? The three of them at least.
Toys to sell to kids.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. They just didn't seem. Again, I wanted more Eternia. I wanted.
Yeah, I
You
wanted
know-
Buzz Off and.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to see a lot of what I already knew. I didn't really want anything, you know, new thrown at me. Although, you know, I liked the look of Evil Lyn. I thought
Yeah.
her whole costume and everything was really, really cool.
Incredible actress.
Oh yes, Meg Foster, absolutely.
Her eyes are
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, yeah. I think that was always the hard thing, because it was like, hey, this isn't on Eternia, and there was like no Orko, and about that time, like in the toy line and the mini comics that came with the toys, they were starting to get more into that evil horde Snakemen territory.
Right.
And those enemies, I've always been a big fan of Hordak and the evil horde, and I was just like, I don't know, it's like you get so used to seeing it one way, and this was such a different take on everything as a He-Man fan knew before. I mean, it was cheesy, but it was good cheese, and I mean, you know, certainly there were, you know, financial constraints. I think the film's biggest enemy was Budgetor, Eternian master of thriftiness.
Yes.
But it has its charms. I mean, as an 80s action sci-fi flick, yeah, it's got its place there for sure.
Oh yeah,
I feel we got gypped a lot, not only with the lack of Eternia, but with the lack of, you know, a competent Tila and Man at Arms.
Yeah.
You know, they were just kind of there.
yes, yes.
You know, this is something I struggle with a lot with fantasy films and so forth. Either they're super advanced, or they're not at all, or there's some weird combination of the both. So they have swords, but then they also have blasters,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, well, which is it? And then, you know, of course, the company that owns them wouldn't allow them to kill anybody.
Mhm.
So all the soldiers are robot-esque
Of
people,
course.
you know,
Right.
which is a cheat that they employ a lot.
In games as well. Just
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you know, you also had like the Chitauri and Avengers. You know, you can kill them because they're aliens, but
Mhm.
people too.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have a weird kind of like combination here, and I'm not sure it quite works.
well, that's from the cartoons, though. I mean, there was, you know,
Yeah.
technology. Like one of my favorite toys, the tank had the treads that kind of flopped
yeah.
over.
Attack track.
Attack tracks, yes. You know, and Man-at-Arms had that like sled thing he rode that had lasers and stuff on it. So it was always kind of this sci-fi fantasy mix. It just leaned more sci-fi in
Yeah.
the cartoons. But
Yeah.
this, it seems like it's upped a lot more.
Right. Right.
And I can see that, like what you were saying, Baltimore, was how they did base it off those early mini comics, because before like Filmation really kind of established what we thought. I mean, He-Man wasn't like royalty. He wasn't a prince. He was
No, he
full on
wasn't.
He-Man. He was from a barbarian tribe, and his harness, like what Baltimore is modeling there, is what gave him his indestructible power. It provided like an energy field around him. So very different take on He-Man back then.
Yeah.
And, then he kind of evolved what we knew, and then he kind of did this, which kind of harkened back. It was a lot of stuff. He-Man's evolved quite a bit over the last 30-something years.
I got a mini comic in
Oh,
there.
nice.
Nice.
I can't see it.
I know, but
Okay.
no, I'm not going to bring it up this, but when I do an unboxing video of this,
Oh,
we can all see what comic I have.
oh, awesome.
It is a Masters of the Universe one.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to get, it popped in my head while we were all talking. I want to go back about the fact that they, for budgetary reasons, whatever, they decided to set this up on Earth rather than Eternia. Okay, another film that I compare this a lot to. I enjoyed them equally. I like this film. I do. I'll go back and I'll watch it every so often or something. Another film that I see similar and I would watch whenever it would come on TV is Flash Gordon. And Flash Gordon, I mean, it's 10 years almost prior to when this movie was made, but that film, they were able actually to make it in the realm of where Ming was and all that. They were able to work with it, and it worked. They worked it out with the budgets. Yeah, there's some cheesy scenes and all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't age well and all that, but they still did it. And it's kind of like that's how I wanted this movie to have been, rather than it be on Earth. You know?
No, I definitely agree with you.
So,
and then sort of to add like insult to injury, while this was coming out, they were already prepping a sequel,
oh wow,
and it was going to star Laird Hamilton, who was a professional surfer, as a surfer, as He-Man, come back to Earth disguised as a surfer.
So,
who writes this stuff?
Oh, Hollywood.
surfing was big.
Surfing was big. He was huge. He was, big surfing star, blonde, all that. But yeah, I'm like, thank God that didn't get made.
Yeah, thank God that didn't get made.
That would have been like that episode of like 60s Batman where Batman and the Joker were surfing against each other.
Oh yes.
Hang 10, He-Man! It's like, cowabunga!
But I tell you, I do love this movie. I do have a soft spot for my, He-Man. Does it hold up today? I don't know, Guy. What do you think?
Like I said, it's kind of cheesy. The special effects are a little dated. I mean, you can see the budgetary constraints. If He-Man was such a big part of my toys and growing up and everything else. It's like you have that soft spot that's kind of inherently built into it. It's got its charm, and Skeletor is one of the highlights and things like that. I think it has definite moments. And I think it. Is it like the greatest movie ever? Maybe not so much, but it's got some nostalgia to it. I think it's entertaining in its own unique way. It's kind of funny. It wasn't the only He-Man film of the time either, with The Secret of the Sword that came out.
Right, animated version. Yeah.
So I remember that one a lot more.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so actually took place on Eternia.
Right.
What a theory.
Yeah, I think like if you remove the He-Man from it, and you just look at it as bad '80s sci-fi, it's fun to watch for the cheese of it, but
Mm-hmm.
as like an actual like film that you want to watch for its quality, it's not
Yeah.
there. It's
Lackluster.
yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch, but not for the reasons it's supposed to be. Except for the two standouts, Evil Lyn and Skeletor.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they're doing their thing, it's great.
Yeah.
A
They've always
couple,
been considerate.
yeah. Well, the villains are always the best. I mean, you always want to be the villain.
Well, another thing that's kind of interesting is, and this is something that continues today, is you see a lot of the villains are very well trained theatrical based
Mhm.
actors. You can see that in some of the Marvel movies. You can see that in Harry Potter stuff. A lot of the top range talent goes to that because they know there's a lot of meat there, a lot of stuff to do with it, and that's exactly where Frank and Meg went with these roles, because they're my friends, Frank and Meg.
We chill and have coffee.
We do. But yeah, so it's a challenge to love Masters of the Universe, the movie. But I've learned to love it over the years.
Yeah, and I love it for different reasons. I love just the cheese of it to watch, to laugh at,
Yeah. And Danny loves it because his bookmark's in there.
That's right, my bookmark's in there. Yeah, but if I had the choice, if Master of the Universe and Flash Gordon are on, I'm gonna watch Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I'm gonna choose. I'll choose it over this,
Choose
just
over
because,
there.
for one thing, the movie was more about Flash Gordon. I didn't get enough He-Man in this. I got stuck with. I got my eye candy, Courtney Cox. Yeah, but I had to look at that other bozo that she was with, and then little and goofy old Gwildor.
Evan.
Eh.
Yeah.
Well, there is hope for a cinematic He-Man. It looks like they're actually starting to get possible. I mean, it's been in development hell for years, but it looks like they might actually possibly be getting serious about a legitimate Master of the Universe film now. And of course, we haven't seen anything on it, but if they do push forward with it, I mean, since the 80s, I mean, they've really worked hard on building up like this really solid continuity. Like we started seeing it like 2000 when they relaunched He-Man, and they
Right.
Right.
really solidified it, and they did even more with like the Matty Collector toys and such. And I'm hoping that if they're smart, they'll actually use the source material and make this really awesome Lord of the Rings epic level film, because they've got such a strong story to play with, and if they do it right, it'll be amazing.
Yep.
And that's the thing, you have to lean into the material. They didn't trust the material here. That's why they put it on Earth, obviously for budget issues as well. But I mean, when you lean into the material, you really become passionate about believing in the given circumstances. And if they use that, then they're going to have a lot more success. And at least they tried on, their laurels rather than,
Well, in their defense, I mean, the He-Man cartoon was a delivery system to sell toys, to make money, so to make a movie with the goal to make money, you play to that movie audience, and so you play to those demographics and what was making money at the time. And
but they didn't base it on the cartoon at all. So
it was based off of marketing meetings. You could tell.
Yeah.
This is totally a movie that was created for marketing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they did introduce new toys.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I just hope they make some epic trilogy. One's Skeletor, one is the Horde, one is the Snake Man, and maybe if they're feeling like super awesome, is maybe they make a spin-off She-Ra film with in the style of like Wonder Woman. If they do that, that'd be awesome.
That would be really, really cool.
Bring her, have one He-Man, one She-Ra, then them joining together at the end.
Well, it'd have to be during the Horde.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Well,
Yeah,
put the
that
Horde
would be
thing.
amazing.
It's a movie. You could change stuff around.
Yeah.
Let's sit down and write the actual film and then submit it to Hollywood and just
Yeah.
Oh man, forget Hollywood. We'll crowdfund it and we'll get it. We'll get the world, all the geeks behind us to publish the darn thing, and we'll put it out there digital and all that good stuff.
There
We'll do it our own.
Baltimore Russell as
we go.
Orko.
Well, at least they didn't say Stinkor. So,
No, that's John's role.
Yeah.
I had Stinkor.
Yeah.
I did. That thing smelled so bad.
It was bad.
I had to put it in a plastic bag before I put it in my toy
Wow.
chest with all my toys.
All
It
your
would
other
make
toys
my-
would stink.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they would all start stinking up. I'm like, man, this is the stupidest toy.
there was no fuss, man. Well, I mean, look at the package, man. It was adjective and or for their names. You knew exactly what you're getting into.
I know.
Yeah, you were warned. Yeah.
I was totally warned.
Well, that's it for us right now. We are going to close it off, but want you to let you know we do have the power,
Yes.
and we will see you again. So from all of us at Total Geeks Live, we're here to say it's all geek to us. See ya!
Bye guys. Nice.
I have the power
You say hey.
to say goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And
And
I
be-
say
And this what?
hey.
And this how Orko casts his spells.
Yep.
Yeah.
Them magic fingers. So
Hold
I
on.
think for our end clip, maybe oh, there you go.
He did. He did. I'm gonna cast a spell. I'm gonna ruin our whole adventure.
Oh, no!
Well, his magic didn't work like it did on Troll. Danny, you insensitive bookmark loving riff raff.